Hi guys and welcome. Today I have the honor and the pleasure of speaking to somebody who I've been looking forward to speaking with for yet again a long time, and that of course is Mr. Didier Martin, who is the CEO of Interblockchain, who works really closely with Worbli, figuring out some of the neat IBC stuff that's going to be coming to the network. Thanks so much for joining me today, Didier. I know you're a busy man, so I really appreciate you taking a few minutes just to sit down and chat with us.
Yeah, hello, Matt. Yeah, happy to speak with you about the IBC stuff because, as you know, that's a hot topic these days, especially in the EOS community, because there was a promise made by the EOSIO team, and it's not there yet. Hopefully it will be, but hopefully also our own solution is already up and running, and more than EOS, it's working on several platforms, in fact. Yeah,
for sure. So, It is the hot topic because that's really kind of the next evolution of blockchain, is to have all these things communicating. So I just really appreciate you sitting down and kind of chatting. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about Interblockchain and then some of the work that you're actually doing with Worbli?
Yes. In fact, today we're working on the next prototype that I'll be able to show you, where we'll be able to move tokens from EOS to Worbli, and from Worbli to EOS. So basically to move a EOS token to Worbli, so as a proxy, could be spent, exchanged for another one, and then every fraction of it, or the token that you move to the Worbli network can be redeemed back to the EOS network. So it's a bidirectional movement, actually. So we are testing that. We already developed several different connections like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ripple, Stellar, and EOS, obviously. And now Worbli added to the collection. If you want, I can show you a small demo on that.
Please do.
Basically, when you get in, the first time you get this introduction screen, which is just saying, what it is. The next step in that case is to like for a bank account, today's in banks, you can have more than one account, a saving account, an expense account, or, whatever. This is the very same principle here, where you enter your addresses in the different accounts you have on the different networks. So if you want to transfer EOS to Worbli, obviously here, you will have to enter your account ID, and then you will have also to enter your account ID here on the Worbli network. As soon as you have these keys, then you can do that thing, transfer funds from, so basically you select the source, the source network, in that case would be EOS. EOS gives you different alternatives, what you can transfer to. So let's say on the EOS network, I want to move an EOS on Worbli, and then if I already inscribe, or so if I already entered my source address on the EOS, it will appear here, by default. I won't have to rewrite it again. The amount, the amount I want to transfer, and the account from where it was before, and the destination address. So what you see now is a very, very early prototype. But if you click on the scan, then you'll have a camera that will catch your QR code that you may have on your wallet, for example. So instead of writing the address, you have only to scan it. And so it's a lot faster, especially for these networks where you may have a mobile wallet. Obviously for EOS and Worbli, it's a lot easier because the user accounts are, with an easier, more easy accessed address. So basically that's it. And when you do the transfer, then you have a verification state where it gives you a real-time feedback. And you can see all that in a small movie that we have on our site. So if you go on our site, go on the demo section, you have here the different demos. So in the case of moving tokens, that's this one. So here you go, you have a small explanation of what it is. and you have a movie explaining you what it is exactly, and then instruction to use the demo, and then the demo itself where you can. So the application is already embedded in that website, and you can try it there, you know. And there is also another demo that you can try, which is something we added recently concerning Worbli, is the payment gateway. So something that we will see in the future, how to buy Worbli using a big bunch of different tokens. So, but this is for another time.
For sure. I think the one question that everybody wants to know is, how does it all work? Like, if you were to try to explain this to somebody who maybe wasn't as tech oriented as other people, which I know can be hard to do because blockchain intercommunication is not an easy thing. But I know, as I understand, you're working on like 3 different kind of ways in order to do it. One was an actual separate blockchain. One was a layer on top of a blockchain, and then another one was using silos. How could you break that down in relatively simple terms?
Okay. We started in fact, we did all kinds of mistakes, you know, before doing that one. But we ended up with a new architecture, which is more versatile, you know. So there's basically 3 different kinds. The first one is a federation. This is precisely what EOS is trying to do today. The second one is the sidechain, like the guys from Ion or the guys from Cosmos or Polkadot. They say they want to do. This is not what they did, but this is what they say they will do. They put in between these different blockchains, they put a blockchain in the middle to do the transfer from one to the other. So this is the second category. And you have a third category, which is basically an interblockchain network. And this is what we do. And this is not a blockchain. This is a totally dedicated kind of tool that we created. I'll share the screen again, so that way, you know, an image worth 1,000 words. So basically, as you see here, it's a network, a peer-to-peer network, and it has different nodes. Here you have the complete system. So when you do a transfer, like with the screen that you saw earlier, and also there is an API that you can use, so you're not obliged to use that user interface. You have an input node, or you may directly connect to this inter-blockchain node. There's 2 different choices. So if you want to use a light client, you talk to this input node that will broadcast on this peer-to-peer network. It will broadcast the transfer request. And then you'll have a bunch of auditors here on the network, like these guys here. What they do is that they listen to the different blockchains, the source and the destination blockchains, and they watch for the balance. If the balance on the source is equal to the balance on the destination, then you have a good transaction, honest transaction. You move the token. If it's not the same, something happened, I don't know, hacker or whatever, I doubt, but anyway, you have to be sure. Then the balance won't be equal, and the auditors broadcast the error on the network, and then a mitigation action will put in place in that case. You have all the kinds of clients here, you know, like the Electron client is talking directly, instead of talking through the input, is talking directly to the network. And then if the transaction is, because to prevent the double pay, the destination transaction occurs only after full confirmation is happening on the source. So that way you don't have any question of double spend. And then, in that case, the signer will do the job. And to provide some security, it's air gap with a timer. And, you know, here there is a secret sauce I won't reveal, but it's for security. It's more complex than what you see here. I just remove all the complexity for security reason. But then after you have these things happening, doing the transaction, recording for accounting, and you have a UR for that, and doing the transaction. And here, the bridge, which is the payment, using the very same payment system, works for fiat or crypto. So you have the whole system here, but basically for the internode or interblockchain, that's this network here on the top. So you have different nodes, and as soon as people are using the Electron client, they will be also an auditor. So as we have, the more we have clients using it, the more auditors are checking the network. So you see, by using it, so it's really more distributed than even the blockchain, because each user now is an auditor, is checking the health of the system. So it's a highly distributed inter-blockchain network.
Very interesting. I guess now for the common crypto user, the question is going to be one of two questions, really. Number one, how does IBC affect the average crypto user? Like, what kind of possibilities is this going to bring? And then more importantly, geared towards Worbli, what are some of the possibilities when we bring Worbli together with IBC?
In fact, several, but I would say the two main advantages of bringing different tokens on the Worbli network. As you know, the actual distributed exchanges, something that we should instead call non-custodian exchanges. These guys are not able today. If you pick most of the DEX on the Ethereum network, most of them, they cannot exchange the 80% of the total capitalization. So Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, EOS, all these guys, the top 10, they're worth 80% of the total capitalization. So take the number you get from CoinMarketCap, take 80% of that, and these guys, they're worth that. The only tokens that could be exchanged on these non-custodian exchanges are only the tokens hosted on the very same network. So in the case of Ethereum, Ethereum. In the case of EOS, EOS. They don't have access to this 80% of the liquidity and capitalization. By bringing these tokens on the Worbli network, we allow non-custodian exchanges on Worbli to have access to this 80% of the total capitalization, something no non-custodian exchanges can do today.
So what does that mean for the average user?
The average user also, in the case, not in the case of the tokens, but in the case of specialized tokens, I would say what we call the stable coins, or what we should call instead the digitized national currencies. Today we have a big bunch of them, at least 5 of them, digitized USDs. These tokens, I can take a short example. Let's say I upload on one of these guys $100 as a token. If now I have an e-commerce accepting these national digitized national currencies, in that case, they don't have the old overhead they have today. So it means that today maybe it will cost them between 3 to 5% per transaction. But if they use it that way, it may be only 1 or 2%.
Nice.
So right off the bat, they are gaining 2 to 3% more on their margin. Yeah. So, and people don't have to exchange, they don't have to go through, this whole process. No, they're using USDs. I mean, the money they're using every day. So for the merchant, it's easier because every time they get these kinds of tokens, they can exchange, they can get back, redeem them back as fiat currencies. This is what they can do today.
Perfect.
So the next phase will be that these guys, they will be able to do not wire transfer, but they will be able to do ACH transfer or e-transfer directly to your bank. And that will reduce even more the cost. And in fact, this is what we're trying to do actually for Euro and CAD, and working with some partners to convince them to have the ACH or transfer in the US.
What I hear you saying also as well is that it might enable small businesses or even medium or large businesses to be able to take payments in cryptocurrency because it's a little bit more affordable, as well as it's going to be a race to the bottom in some of the services that Worbli is going to be able to provide because you're reducing the overhead cost. Is that accurate?
Exactly. So translated as a higher margin for merchant, maybe 2 to 3%, faster operations because they can, as you know, in speed, having at least 3,000, close to 4,000 transactions per second. And if we set the right parameters on the network, we can reach up to 9,000 transactions per second, which is on par with Visa and MasterCard, but less the cost of Visa or MasterCard, less expensive and as fast. So, we got a lot of advantages.
That's brilliant. I love it. Didier, I won't take up too much more of your time. I am going to leave a link for Interblockchain as well. I know that you guys are on Telegram, so I encourage people to come in there, chat with you. You're an exceptionally intelligent man, so you're also very humble and willing to talk to people. So I'm really excited about what you guys are doing. I'm excited about your partnership with Worbli, and I'm just excited about the future of Interblockchain and, of course, interblockchain communication. So thanks so much for sitting down with me. I hope that we can do this sometime again soon, and I look forward to chatting with you again.